Oh man, I really want to tell my Herod story. I don't know if I can tell that fast though. I had this great story because I was reading. I do like Bible readings every single day, or I try to. I've done like three in the last week, so I guess that's not exactly true. But I was just reading a part about Herod, and Herod's this king, and this has a point, everybody. So I'm getting to a point here. Herod's this king in Judea at around the time of Christ, and he learns that Christ is going to be born, and he's going to be the Messiah for these Jewish guys. And Herod says, "Well, I'm not giving up my power. I'm attached to my power. I'm tethered to it, and I love it. I don't want to give it up." So what happens is Herod decides, and this is a real guy. He decides that to solve this problem, he's going to kill every child in the province under the age of 2. And he chooses under the age of 2 just to make sure that he doesn't miss the Messiah and make sure he kills all of them, including the Messiah. Now keep that in mind. This guy is so evil, he's willing to kill all these children just to get one. You know, we just had an incident like this in Texas where all these little kids were killed, and it bothers me. It bothers me so much. There's little else in the world that bothers me as much as hearing about these kids. In fact, I don't even want to talk about it that long, actually. It's really tough to talk about. It really bothers me a lot. It's become easier to deal with the more that I've formed a relationship with Jesus. It's become easier to deal with these things because I realize that this isn't the big picture. We're part of a much bigger picture, and even though there's bad things that happen here, it doesn't mean that that's how they stay for eternity, and I'm very thankful for that, and it really settles my mind because there's a lot of evil out there in this world, and the root of it is, the point of this is that we get to attach, and this is not connected to the super cool slide rule talk. I just want to say that just in case someone's saying, how does this connect? It does not. It does not connect at all. But it's all about being attached to something and not wanting to have a healthy relationship. How do I put this? You're being attached to something in a negative manner. And the first thing I thought about, and this is an embellishment based on the evil part, but you have these guys, and I've gotten so many comments on these old HVAC tech versus new HVAC tech videos where the old HVAC techs don't want to teach the new HVAC techs anything because they're afraid or apprehensive that these guys are going to replace them. They don't want these guys to move up ahead of them, and they just don't want to relinquish any power, any position that they have. And I've gone through the same thing. You know, I'm in a podcast world now. I was in a technician and ownership world in HVAC, and though I periodically do HVAC jobs, I'm in a podcast world with a whole bunch of other podcasters. And some of them are more successful than I am, and some of them are less successful than I am. So it would be unhealthy to say, well, I'll start rumors about everybody that's ahead of me because I want to be at the top of the line. I want to make sure that my well-being is secure, my living is secure, and I don't have to worry about anything. That's what I want. That's what I want to happen. And I think a lot of us think that way because we want to guard our living and our family, how we support them with everything we have. And for a long time, I was like, well, that's the right way to do it. That's what you have to do for your family. That's what you do. That's a good thing. Then I realized that is not good. I don't believe that's good in any way. Because I think the hardest thing to do is to have integrity in a situation where you have a lot to lose. It's very difficult. It's very easy to go on Facebook. I call it the virtue signaling capital of the world. Go on there and say things, but when it comes time that you have to make a decision that could potentially hurt you because it's the right decision to make, a lot of people don't make that decision right, including myself. And that's a very hard thing to do. It's much easier to be attached to your selfish desires, and I think we would all benefit from just stepping back and giving up control of that, giving up control of all those things. I don't know why I thought about that with Herod, but I get so many comments about technicians treating each other poorly that it made me think of this. And there's so many things, especially in the Bible, about, life's not fair. Why does this happen? Why does this happen? Why did I get a promotion? Or why did somebody else get a promotion and I didn't? This isn't fair. I'm going to a different company. This is BS. I'm not taking this any longer. These people don't appreciate me. There's a whole lot of that out there. And it finally occurred to me one day that perhaps I'm being steered in a direction that I don't yet understand. And I think that explains a lot about what happens with us in the world. We get wrapped up in what's happening in one moment, and we don't understand there could be a greater picture in play. Now, my wife got sick years ago, and that's why I became a podcaster. And if she wouldn't have gotten sick, which is a negative thing, I would have never found this, which I love doing, which is a positive thing. I think that happens to a lot of people. Family members get shipped off in the military. Someone else moves to be with them. They get the job they've always wanted. It doesn't always happen like that. It doesn't always end positively for everybody. But I'm saying that perhaps we need to relinquish control, try to go with the flow a little bit more, and see how things play out before we rush to judgment. Man. Yeah, still applies to HVAC. Well, I'm not trying to get too deep, but I am trying to do something that I try to do periodically. And you guys know me. I was the biggest, you see the video at the front? Those of you who weren't listening to the podcast saw the video at the front. I was cursing in the video. My behavior was often deplorable, not all the time. But I tried to make a serious change in my life. And it happened slowly. And I tell you what, it's more complicated than I'll be able to explain, for sure. But it all has to do with, it all has to do with Jesus. I hate to sound like that, but that's what it has to do with. Guys, it's a life-changing thing. And I would be remiss if I didn't try to tell you guys about him every now and then in some little way, shape, or form. Because if I don't and no one else does, man, what good am I? What good am I if I could have done something that would help you more than anything else you ever heard before, and I decided to be quiet? I don't think that would be a very good thing for me to do. So here, I've told you. I've told you now, and the ball's in your court if need be. And I'll be happy to talk with you more about it. But I'm not going to talk with anybody right now. We're going to keep going with the show, but I'll be happy to do it. If you want to watch more videos just like this one, click on this playlist. If you want to see a new video you might not have ever seen before, check out this one right down here. And if you want to find out more about the sponsors that make this show possible, you can click on this box right here. And of course, if you aren't subscribed, please click here to do so.